whether should I do the summary.
Okay, let me
So I
think.
just want to ask for your feedback. If do you think I think the summary will be useful, like to do all the processes and all the enzymes, like the one that I wrote in my thinkings and my annotation. But time will be an issue, so I'm not sure for that. I think now I
Correct.
talked about 35 to almost 40 minutes.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
they will probably ask a lot of small questions because this is the bulk of the content. And this is
yeah,
a crash
correct.
course. The people coming
Yeah,
are probably quite blur and they forgot a lot of things.
yeah, correct. So I'm not sure if should I do the summary or should I do at the start so that make sure all the questions will be asked at the start first before we
Mm.
begin.
Okay. So put yourself in the shoe of this type of student, right? This type of student is
Mm,
coming for a crash course.
mm,
And on this topic, they probably
mm,
forgot a lot of stuff. So if you put a summary at the start, will they be able to answer it? Will they know what's going on when you put a summary at the start?
that's true. Yeah,
They
they may
won't,
not
right?
be. Yeah, they won't.
Correct. So let's put it at the end if we want to put it in. Then the other
Mm,
question is, do we have enough time to put it in? And to answer that question, we have to ask ourselves, what is the main goal of this lesson? And is that part of the main goal? If it is, then yes, we should put it in. So what do you think is the main goal for this avatar of student, this kind of student?
to let them improve the most like fastest way possible and let them understand in the most fastest possible way.
Okay. Can you be more specific? Because you can say that about every lesson, right? But this is a specific lesson on nutrition and humans, crash course.
Crash course.
Yeah, it's students who are very blur in the content, they forgot a lot of stuff.
Mm,
Content-wise, they forgot a lot of stuff. So
mm,
this page, right, this entire page, out of 10, how important would it be, the content from this page? So 10 out of 10 means that it's super important, it must be in a lesson, and it's okay to spend more time on it. 1 out of 10 is like, small things, like the peristalsis stuff, small,
mm.
right? That's not our focus. So 1 out of 10.
Yeah,
How important is this page?
maybe even 9 or even a 10.
Mm.
Mm,
Yeah, it's absolutely important because that's why they're here, because they forgot all this stuff. They are lost in all this stuff. So you have done a very good job. You have made them feel like, wow, I know so much stuff now. I feel so
mm,
relieved. I feel like everything's coming back. So
mm.
does the summary, if you do a summary at the end, does it work towards that purpose?
Yeah, you will
It
like
does.
consolidate all of their understanding.
Exactly, exactly. So I would definitely do it. I think you made a good choice to plan that. And I would frame it as questions. So I will put blanks instead of writing the answer straight away. I will say,
Mm,
okay, now you all learn, right? Yeah. So how do you wanna you can put it in your lesson page. Like you can make a new page, then you can type it out. You can even draw it out so that
mm,
on the day itself you can save some time. But if actually it doesn't take that much time to draw out, then
mm,
you can just write out on the spot.
mm,
So yeah, you can write starch, then you can draw the arrow, then you can draw a blank above the arrow, and
mm,
then you just tell them, hey, as I'm drawing this down, follow with me and fill in the blanks.
mm.
Yeah, you can say copy what I'm doing, but for all the blanks you fill in.
Okay.
Yeah, do you think you want to do that?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, just do that for the first one, the starch. The rest I don't need to see. Just do the first one.
Okay. Okay. So we just to summarize on what we have done. Basically, we'll start with starch first. Okay. So starch converted to maltose. So I want you to follow with me and write down. And as I'm writing down, I want you to write in what is going to be the enzyme that allows for the digestion of starch to maltose at the two different enzymes that digest this. And then from maltose back to something, okay, start with G. I want you to write down, fill this blank over here, and also write down what is going to be the enzyme that is going to be over here that allows for the digestion of maltose to something G.
Nice. Yeah, nice. That'll be good. Okay, so now let me give you feedback for this entire section, okay?
Okay.
Yeah. So I've actually typed it out.
Mm.
I think it's better if I share the screen
Oh, okay.
and
Yeah.
then you can see. Yeah. Hey, wait. Yeah, let's actually let me think. No, I like your screen sharing. I should leave it there. I don't want you to close it. Then maybe I just copy this whole document and send to you. Okay, and on another question, the crash course you said that you watched is the crash course clips, right?
Yeah.
And when you saw it, were there a lot of them? Like
Uh,
more than 10 inside the folder?
yeah.
Okay, very good. That means I've already uploaded it yesterday. And you saw the updated clips.
Mm.
Okay, very good. Because they came from my lesson. So even though you didn't watch the lesson, but you
Yeah.
basically
That's
saw a
why.
lot.
Yeah. So that's why I didn't ask for it because based on what I see is basically whatever that you go through in lesson. So that's why I didn't like ask.
Yeah.
Just at the starting, I didn't see lah because you only started
Uh,
recording when you started going through this concept map thing.
that's right. Okay, I sent the document on Zoom, like in the Zoom chat. Yeah, so once you open, they just have it on your screen. Then you tell me, then I start talking.
Can I ask the Wi-Fi at the place, right? Is it going to be quite strong?
Very strong, yeah. I use it all the time.
Okay, because now I'm the one that linked to my iPad. I'm using AirPlay.
Oh, don't do that. That's really bad. Okay, I mean, you can. It's just that every time you share the screen, right, it'll take quite long to load. And there's also a slight lag. Although the lag is not a problem, it's the loading. And sometimes it'll just not cooperate with you and it takes super long to load. So I have a physical connection. I have a USB-C to USB-C cable. I can bring if you want, I can bring. Yeah.
Oh, because
So
I did try, right? Because I know for Mac it works, but when I do for Windows, apparently in order for me to do this kind of thing, right, it needs to pay. Then
okay, so
I was like, okay. So
the question
I
is, are you going to stop the share and show something like show Google Chrome, show YouTube video? Because if you stop the share and show something and then you come back, right, it will keep
it will
loading
take
every time.
loading.
Yes. So that's why I hate it. But if you're not gonna share something else, right, or it's only gonna be one time, then AirPlay works.
But because I'm going to be doing the AirPlay plus the, let's say, the my computer is going to be the one that's being projected, correct?
Yeah, the Zoom shared screen, you will drag it to the projector.
To the projector, yeah. Then if that's the case, then if let's say I want to open like a Google Chrome, I can use using the computer to open, right? Or if let's say
Yeah,
in
you
a case
can.
where Kahoot, I can also do that. So
You can, but then you need to switch the shared screen.
switch the share screen.
Yeah. And then if you
Yeah.
ever switch back to the iPad, you need to wait for it to load.
Oh.
So
Mm,
whenever I show videos, I hate it because I need to come back to the iPad, right? Yeah, I hate it.
yeah.
But if that lesson, like I think this lesson, there won't be any videos, right? That
There
I
won't
show
be
you.
any videos. Yeah.
And there's no Kahoot also.
Mm,
Yeah, then it's okay. Doesn't matter.
okay. But for future, that one, I don't know.
Okay,
I
I
mean,
give
like,
another reason why I don't use it. Because on Zoom, the people on Zoom, right, when I share screen my iPad, sometimes they see a white line, a thin white line across the screen, and that's it. Everything else is black. And then they're like, hey, Joe, I cannot see anything. It's just a white line. Then I'm like, what nonsense, yeah? Like, but it's true. It really is. That's what they see on their end. So
oh,
I believe that issue was more of an issue when I use AirPlay. But yeah, I'm not fully sure. But okay, in general, physical connection is much better than AirPlay. Yes, that's the moral of the story.
but the problem is when
But for
I
this lesson, it's okay.
like for example, I did try before, like before this class, right? I actually like I went through and I like, have a mental prep of what's going to happen. So when I did
Mm,
like connect physically,
mm.
Zoom doesn't allow. Then
Wow.
then my Windows also like I did search for like third party apps. I go and check and download the apps, but then apparently I go and see, right, I need to pay. And I'm like, okay. So
Okay,
yeah.
full time. I mean, not full time, but like tutors who I hire, I will buy them a MacBook, so that they can don't need to use the crappy Windows. Unless the Windows is pretty good, lah, then it's okay. They can stick to the Windows.
Okay.
Okay, so yeah, back to the feedback. All right,
Oh,
so you have that screen open, the Word document?
yeah. Okay, yeah.
Yes. Okay. So first thing is dietary fiber is not a biomolecule category because the way you asked was like, okay, tell me the
Oh,
biomolecule. So you had starch, protein, fats. Then you say, okay, what's the one from the vegetable? Then people are thinking, oh,
mm,
is it a fourth category, right? But it's actually
mm,
under the carbs category.
mm,
So the starch at the top, yeah, when you ask what biomolecule, they will be thinking the three categories, carbs, proteins, fats. So
mm,
starch isn't really answering that question of what category of biomolecule.
mm.
So you could write there, carbs, bracket starch. Then it will be accurate to your question that you're asking.
Okay, so I will
Just bracket around the starch.
just
Around
put
the starch
carbs.
itself. Okay. Yeah, either way works.
Okay. Yeah, then I'll need to highlight so that I'll know that spot. Okay.
And then the dietary fiber, yeah, just ask them, okay, by the way, this is not a biomolecule, but I want to ask what is the name of the molecule that is primarily found in these vegetables? Yeah, that way they won't assume that it's a new category of biomolecule.
Mm,
All right. So next one
okay.
would be mouth. So yeah, you went to mouth, but then there wasn't really a link from the burger to the rest of the parts. So the reason why we
Mm,
bring the burger in, right, is to make it interesting, to make it relatable. So you can link it by saying, okay, imagine now you're going to eat this yummy burger. So it goes to your mouth first, right? You bite.
mm,
Yeah, then you talk about all the mouth stuff. They say, okay, then we swallow the burger, because we've chewed it, we swallow down the esophagus. Then now it goes in our stomach, and we can link the what is digested with the burger. So you can say like, okay, what will be digested here will be the proteins in the patty.
mm,
Yeah, and then same for later on, you can say small intestine, the fats from the cheese, and etc. The mouth one starch, right? The starch from the
mm,
bread. So you link it to the burger, makes it more relatable, right? More interesting.
mm,
Yeah. Plus also they'll be like, why the burger so little airtime? Like they'd be wondering, oh, so what's the point of the burger? Just to show the different biomolecules. Like it doesn't link to the rest.
Oh, okay. I
So I
understand.
made the same mistake actually in my first lesson. Then I was like, oh, I completely forgot to refer to the burger. So in the
Yeah.
next 2 time slots, I made the link.
Okay.
Okay. So it's like, yeah, a storyline. All right. Next one is you said starch.
The starch. Yeah.
You said, I think I asked you what? Yeah, starch is a polysaccharide. That's why you say like polymolecule. Yeah, say
Yeah.
polysaccharide. Then next is sucrose. You said it was a secondary carbohydrate. Let's not use that term.
Disaccharide.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
say disaccharide. Because
Okay.
secondary carbohydrate means you're presenting another term that you need to explain.
Okay. Understand.
Yeah. Okay, next thing is okay, every time you see in my document I have the plus sign, right? Means like
Mm.
this is a good thing, please continue doing it. The students will like
Okay.
it.
Mm.
So you said you were always asking small questions like, okay, what's the blank? Amylase, salivary amylase, yeah, that blank there.
Mm.
And you actually can ask more. So in my class, I actually notice people yawning. I notice people like not having as much eye contact. And that is the signs that I'm getting boring because it's content, 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 facts,
Mm.
facts, facts, statement after statement. So instead, and why what one thing that our students like a lot about our lessons is they keep on saying this term engaging. Because in school,
Mm.
all they get is content after content, and then
Mm.
they just sleep. It was so boring. So if they want to come to tuition, right, in order for them to want to join, they must see a big difference from school.
Mm.
So if they see that it's just like school, what's the point? Then they'll be like,
Mm.
I hate this. It just gave me the
Yeah.
same feeling as school, and we
Mm.
don't want it to feel like school. So
Mm.
we do the opposite. We go to the other extreme. School no engagement, right? We give them a lot. So that's why I try and as you teach physical lessons more, you will start seeing the signs that they are getting disengaged, like the
Mm.
yawning, the
Mm.
not really eye contact. Yeah, then you'll
Mm.
be like, okay, I'm getting boring. No problem. Just need to engage them. So here are the methods, right? You ask them more questions. Even if you didn't plan for, like you see the increased SA to V for enzymes to digest, you didn't
Mm.
plan that as a question. But once you see that, oh, they are looks like they are losing focus, then I
Mm.
ask them, hey, increase what? Then they'll all look up, huh? Increase what? What's the blank? Then you see
Mm.
you have gained their focus again.
Mm.
Okay, what other methods? I like to say yes or no questions. So I'll ask them, increase surface area. Okay, I'll write that. And then I'll say, is this correct? What I wrote? Increase surface area for enzymes. Then who thinks true? If you think true, put thumbs up. If you think false, show a thumbs
Put
down.
thumbs
Okay.
down.
Then I'll like ask them, okay, 3, 2, 1, show. Then some people put up, some put down. They say, okay, it's actually false because you're supposed to say surface area to volume ratio. There's a difference
Mm.
in those terms.
Mm.
And then you see like they create suspense because they want to know if they get it right.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
and people like to give their opinion also. So when you show and they ask them for up or down, they get super engaged. Yeah.
Mm.
Other examples would be increase or decrease. So example, when we drink too much water, will ADH increase or decrease? Then I'll say, okay,
Mm.
y'all think for 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1, okay, go. Then if you think no change, you can put flat. Then
Mm.
some people will put, whatever. And I'll say, okay, the answer is decrease. Actually, ADH will decrease if you have too much water.
Mm.
So those are the tactics. You can also do raise hand, like, okay, who chose A, who chose B, who chose C, who chose D. For true or false, okay, here's the thing. I noticed that people find it hard to raise hands because, yeah, it's a
Yeah.
lot of effort, right? This one,
Mm.
compared to
Yeah.
show a thumbs up or down, this one easier.
Mm.
Second is they have negative associations in school with raising hand
Mm.
because when
Like you
they,
raise hand, then you get discriminated. You get wrong something.
yeah, you're right. And yeah, maybe they feel embarrassed, maybe they feel like whatever lah, okay? So negative association with school,
Mm.
and now this one is like, oh, they never done this before, right? So they're neutral to
More
it.
subtle. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and it's also more subtle because people are more like shy, awkward. They don't
Mm.
want to do such a big action and draw attention to themselves. Yeah, so I like doing this. Okay, so that was about engagement, which is a really small hack, but huge benefits. Like they will want to join your lesson, way higher chance that they want to join.
Mm.
Yeah. Okay, next one is you say why is chewing important? So that was my suggestion. Put a blank instead. You can use your green pen now and you just blank, like write an underline under SA to V. Yeah. Then it reminds yourself that in the lesson you will just say, yeah, you can just use your green pen and put a blank under SA to V. Oh, okay, well, up to you, however you want to annotate. No, not ask increase or decrease. This one is obvious. They will say, of course, it's increase.
Oh,
But
okay.
the
I
question
get,
should
I get,
be,
I get what you mean.
yes, like that. Yeah, increase what? Chewing increases what? Then they are like, huh? And you can say you can write the
Mm.
rest except for the SA to V. Then they will be like, they get a hint.
Mm.
Okay. So next one is just now I act like the student. I asked, can I just write amylase? Good. You said you need salivary amylase because
Mm.
later on there's a pancreatic amylase.
Mm.
So that was good. You were being specific
Mm.
by And it's kind of like subtly flexing on the student also that your knowledge is so good that you can just call out the other MLAs. Yeah. So next one, you said when you eat, right, then nom nom nom, the food go down. So that's good.
Okay.
I'm sure they will laugh. I'm sure. Yeah, like small things like this, they like it a lot. So they'll laugh. Engagement, excitement, interesting lesson. Okay, next is peristalsis. Yeah, that one I already told you. You see, you didn't draw a diagram because you noticed that, oh, I confirm run out of time if I draw a diagram, right?
Yeah.
And if you don't draw a diagram and you explain muscles contract and relax, you see
They
these
may not
students, they
be
came
able
in,
to see.
yeah, they are here for the crash course because they forgot everything. So unless they have a very high level of knowledge, they won't know what you're talking about at all. Yeah, because you didn't have a diagram, right? So the lesson here is if you don't have enough time to explain something properly, don't explain it. If you don't have a diagram, because we no time to write a diagram, just don't explain it, just forgo.
Okay.
Yeah, actually it does them more harm because they would be confused.
They'll leave the class confused. Yeah.
Yeah, and it also harms you because they would be like, oh, he was quite good at explaining, except this part I didn't get his explanation. So it will reduce like their points of how good you are as a tutor. All right, next one is you said the old syllabus, your school might be teaching you pepsin and trypsin. Yeah, that's good because that is actually what they experience. Some schools are teaching that. So you let them know what is the difference in old and new syllabus. They really appreciate that because they're also very confused. The syllabus only changed last year. Okay, next one, it was you said the memory shortcut for small intestine parts is doing Johnson and I. Okay, see, that was a statement, right? But every time we have the chance to reframe as a question, we should do it. Yeah. So let's say I ask you a question right now, okay? What color is my shirt? Even if you didn't say, okay, now try not to say, try to ignore me, okay? Try to ignore me and like just be very like defiant and rebel against me, okay? Yeah. Am I wait, let me think. Oh, what subject do I teach? I bet your brain taught bio, right? Even if you wanted to like not listen. So like the human brain cannot help but respond to questions. And so that is a huge hack to force people to focus, to pay attention again. So when you ask them, hey, have you heard of The Rock, that actor? Dwayne Johnson, do you know him? Then like people start nodding and stuff. Yeah, so huge like engagement points again. So same content, but just rephrase as question is always great. Yeah, you already are doing that at quite a lot of parts. So just continue that. Rephrase statements as questions. And then answer your own question. All right. Next one is jejunum. I might be pronouncing it wrong. So can you open like Google?
I've always been pronouncing it as GG now.
I don't know whether it's correct. So let's go find pronunciation. British pronunciation. Oh, it's jejunum. Okay. Jejunum.
Oh, jejunum.
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 Okay. I always say jejunum, but the pronunciation emphasizes the Jew, jejunum. Okay, yeah. So just pronounce it the correct way because we don't want students to be pronouncing it the wrong way either. And then like they might also think we are funny if we say the wrong pronunciation. Okay, what else was next? The gallbladder doesn't produce bile. That's a misconception. So good that you pointed out, hey, this is a common misconception. Those who may have it will now like perk up and listen and like, oh, okay, that's a misconception. And those who don't have the misconception will be warned. Plus, they'll actually feel good about themselves that, hey, I'm not like most of the
I know.
students.
Yeah. I'm like more superior, that kind of thing.
Yes, yes. So it was very good. As a student, I would want to hear that, what you pointed out. Okay, next is emulsification. Increase SA to V. Yeah, again, that was a blank that we could have, a small question. The SA to V. Like it was a missing, you see the increase SA to V, right? Yeah, that was a missed opportunity to ask a small question. Okay, next would be, did you hear the analogy I used when talking about this? The fat emulsification and the crash course script. Here's the analogy for it because what you're writing is all facts, right? And true, but a bit unrelatable. And the weaker students won't get it so fast. So what I say is, okay, imagine that one day your school teacher didn't come and then they move you to join other classes. So your class gets split into a few groups. And you and your bunch of people, you all go as one group, right? And then you all sit at the same place because you don't know everyone else, so you're very awkward. So you're like that large fat droplet. You're all sticking together. Then the teacher comes and it's like, hey, stop clumping together. You go there, you go there, you go there, spread across the class. And then the teacher is acting like the bile salts and splitting you all up. So now you become the smaller groups, smaller clumps of people. That's like the smaller fat droplets. Yeah. So use the analogy because analogies drastically increase engagement, interesting, relatability, and understanding also. They understand it way better, especially the weak students will understand it way faster when you put analogy. So In fact, like in my feedback from my class, I noticed that one of the most important things students say they like is analogies.
Mm.
Yeah. So if I stop doing that, they probably some of them might not like want to join also.
Mm.
Yeah. So you want to write that the analogy thing?
Instead of your example, is it possible to use, like, for example, if you go for a class that have like 100 people, then you listen to class, will you absorb better when you listen to a mass lecture with like 100 people, or would you prefer like a small class with more attention? So which one will you absorb better? That kind of thing.
Smaller.
Yeah, so you say when it's smaller. So increase is better when you're smaller, increase surface area or absorption, something like
Okay, but that's more. That analogy explains that if you would absorb better. So to apply that to this analogy means that the small fat droplets are absorbing stuff better, but they're not absorbing stuff, right? It's more like more SA to V for them, for the enzymes to come around them and break it
that.
down. So the
Ah,
analogy doesn't accurately translate to the principle that we're teaching.
okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Understand.
Yeah. So I'd say use my analogies, but if you have a better one, definitely you can run it by me. Because if you use my analogies, right, save you on time on thinking, plus you don't have to worry about is this accurate to the principle? Because I've already done that hard work to think of it. And if we can standardize across tutors, that's even better.
Okay.
All right, next. Let's see. Yeah, we done that. Emulsification. Okay, don't use the word efficient. Because just now you said, I think when fat droplets are broken down, more efficient digestion. I think that's where you said it. So it's actually a common mistake people use in their open-ended questions. Instead of saying like the rate increases, they say it's more efficient. You know, rate of diffusion is faster. They say more efficient diffusion, something like that. More efficient digestion, absorption. Yeah, all these are vague. You see, efficient allows you to put a lot of ideas into one small word and then skip writing those ideas out. And that's why they lose a lot of keywords. So I keep now I keep telling them it's a vulgar word, right? It's a bad word. It's a bad word in bio exams, in bio questions. So sometimes I catch myself saying efficient also. Then I'm like, hey, sorry, I said a bad word. Don't use that word. Always be specific. So when you said efficient digestion, you actually mean increase the rate of fat digestion by the lipase. Yeah, increase rate of enzyme reaction, basically. Okay, so next one, stomach mucus thing. Okay, I'll let you write first.
Yeah, I understand. Can.
Okay. Yeah, so the stomach mucus question, the student didn't know that pH 2 is actually optimum for protease. They thought that all the optimum is always high pH. So that was actually the root of their question. So in this case, you started answering another question, right? So the better thing to do would have been to clarify back what exactly are you asking? Are you asking about this? Then if they say no, then good. At least you didn't waste time explaining something that they didn't ask. Then get to really the root of what they're asking.
Okay.
And
Oh, for the stomach parts, do you think I should mention about the mucus thing?
no, because you're already going to do that in another question, right?
Okay, so totally don't talk about it.
Yeah.
Okay. But if someone asks about it, then you just explain.
Actually, it depends on the situation. If let's say it is crucial to answer now, I will give an answer. But if it's not, right, I'll say, hey, actually that question is going to be answered by the next question, question 3 or something. So wait until question 3. Yeah, I'll tell them that. And okay, so the small point, a small intestine also has mucus. It's just not as thick or protective as the stomach, but it has. Because the way you phrased it was like only the stomach has the mucus. All right, next one is at the end, right? You ask for this student asking you about the pH 2 thing. You ask, does it answer your question? Wow, that's a very good strategy. I also want to use that now more often. Is to check that we really answer. Because in school, they keep on telling me this. They ask their teacher gives some very complex answer that isn't answering the question. And then they'll be like, oh, okay, yeah, got it. Then I ask them, so why do you do that? Because you don't actually get the answer yet. Why you say, okay? Because they don't want to continue troubling the teacher or like go back and forth. That's why they tired already. So sometimes students might do that to us. And this strategy, does it answer your question, is good because it's an extra checkpoint if they are just giving us a BS, like, okay, yeah, I know.
Because
Actually, they don't.
personally I have encountered students like, because I got told you that I teach chemistry, right? So I ask questions in class, and then this girl very awkward, very quiet. Then she's like, yeah. But then I asked them, do you answer a question? Then she's like, no. They're like, so which they're like, which part of the thing you do not understand? Like that kind of, yeah.
That's a
So
good tactic.
that was when I realized that, hey, okay, this thing actually works. Yeah.
That's a good tactic. Yeah. So I like this, like testing the water, monitoring the water. That's very good. So when I don't know if you've ever gone for massages before, but a good masseuse would usually ask
The
Is
pressure
this
okay?
pressure okay? Yeah. Am I pressing too hard to solve, right? And so that is a similar kind of thing that you're doing here. Next is LA. When you ask, so you drew pancreatic L, but you haven't write the full name for lipase yet, right? You just drew L. And then you ask them, okay, what is the enzyme? Then those who are not paying attention, which probably 25% or more, will not be paying attention every second. So that means when you ask that question, they'll be like, huh, what's the question? What's the question? But if you draw out the blank, right? L blank.
Oh, so they can follow.
Yeah, they know, oh, he's asking about that blank. Yeah, so this is my practice that every time I ask a question, if it's
You
something
draw
to
a
fill
blank.
in, I draw blank. Yeah.
Okay.
It's very short also. Easy to implement. Okay. Next is you can use a lot more short forms. So carbs for carbohydrate, right? You don't have to write the whole thing. Because the more you write, there are two problems. One is you waste more time. Time management in teaching is also important, just like time management in exam. Then second is they will take whatever you write as the gospel. I'm serious. They will take everything you write as gospel and they will write. Some students will just copy everything word for word. And I'm actually very scared by this because it shows how much responsibility I have. If I mess up even one bit, right, they're going to take it as gospel. So I have to make sure I'm very accurate and I'm teaching the right things. So when you write long, they also will write long. They'll write the full thing, carbohydrates. But if you write carbs, you're training them to take notes in a more efficient way in class. So it benefits you and benefits student. Okay, next is, so some examples is the digestion, right? Plus, you see your number 2, jejunum. Digest, I will just write digest plus absorb. Then you don't need to write the ION. I don't need to write simultaneously. I can say the word simultaneously when I'm talking, but I don't need that in. It doesn't change the meaning.
Okay. Just take away the simultaneous
Yeah, just say digest plus absorb.
and plus absorb. Okay.
Yeah, okay. Then for, let's see the next one. Ileum, don't say complete all digestion because by definition, egestion of the feces is removal of undigested food waste. So there is always some undigested food. And that's true, right? Our digestion is never 100% efficient. I would change the phrasing to not have that idea of completed, like full digestion. Okay, I'll put some digestion plus mainly absorption or mainly, yeah, I could rotate the other way also. Yeah, that's right. So the first part of the small intestine mainly does the digestion and some absorption. Then the jejunum is like a bit of both. And then the last one is mainly absorption.
Okay, so this carbohydrate thing, I just shrink it and just say mainly digest lah.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, because actually it's not just the duodenum that is doing all those three, right? It's throughout the whole thing that all those three are being digested. So
Just
yeah,
say
mainly digest plus some absorb. Put that in plus some absorb. Because a common misconception is they think the duodenum does no absorption. That's not true. It does some absorb. So plus some absorb.
okay.
Nice. And then lymph.
Then
Okay, so
sorry,
you
the
bracket,
genome
yeah.
I just say digestion absorption plus absorption.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's both, yeah. So then you see you bracketed LIMP there. But now it misleads people to think that lymph enzymes are only present in those two parts of the small intestine. It's actually the entire small intestine has LIM. Yeah. So maybe just remove the bracket and then you can just write small intestine enzymes, bracket lymph. Then you write the 1, 2, 3.
Oh, so I will
You
just
can move the lymph above. Yeah, that works. Yeah. Okay, then a good thing you said was all enzymes have the ASE. So you're teaching them pattern recognition. You're teaching them kind of a hack or a trick to know that, oh, this works for all other enzymes also. That's good. Okay, then next one is, I think overall you sound confident in teaching, and that's good. So even if you feel like an imposter, because even if you feel like, hey, I actually don't really know all the content that well, it doesn't matter, still have to sound confident. And I heard this from a GP tutor, like he has, I think 200 plus students. And yeah, that whole classroom is like 50 people in each class. It's insane. He's good lah, obviously, okay? Because to have that many and like such a massive class and people just, oh yeah, and he doesn't even advertise it. They just come by, because the students recommend the others, yeah. So actually on Sunday, I ran his place. That's the beauty of this. So he told me before that he notices when students come in, they low confidence in the subject. That's why they're joining tuition. And they will kind of borrow your confidence. So when you're confident, they feel like, oh, as long as I follow what he's saying, I will also be confident in the subject. I'll be safe. So that's why sounding confident is very good. And in 2022, I was only 20 years old. And there was this student who joined. And she, even before joining, she was skeptical because of how young I was. And her parents were also skeptical of like, wow, is this teacher any good? No. But after her first lesson with me, her trial lesson, she felt that I sounded very confident. Like I knew what I was doing. Actually, I didn't because I was terrible back then. I didn't teach in analogies. I didn't ask questions as much as you are asking right now. I had some misconceptions myself in the content that I was just wrong. And yet she still felt I was confident. And that's why she joined. So it really shows how important sounding confident is, even if you may not know all the content properly yet. Yeah, because as long as you have a humble attitude of like when someone tells you, or maybe even a student tells you, hey, this one, is it true or not? Then you're like, honestly, I need to research that. And I might be wrong. And I will get back to you on the answer. And I'm willing to change it. So as long as you're humble and willing to be open that you might be wrong, you can still sound confident because you know that it's not paired with like a arrogance of not ever admitting wrong to the students. Yeah. Okay. I don't really know how to phrase that, but I hope you
Yeah,
understand.
I do get you.
Okay. So next one, polypeptides, right? I like to teach them small polypeptides. And my rationale for that is I don't know whether you saw it in the Crash Course
Yeah,
scripts.
I
Oh, you
noticed you
did.
wrote
Okay.
small polypeptides.
So my rationale is that they learn in molecular genetics. Proteins are made from polypeptides. Polypeptides are amino acids, right? That are fold in a chain, and then the polypeptide folds into a protein. So they learn that basically polypeptide is a protein. It just needs to fold. So when we say in this topic, proteins are digested, that means they are chopped up into polypeptides. It sounds weird because hey, I thought a whole protein is a polypeptide. So why are you saying that polypeptide chopped up becomes polypeptides? Like, what's the difference? So that's why I like to add the word small in front. Then they confirm know that, oh, this is the chopped up one. And I would, oh yeah, I didn't write this in the document, but I would draw small little circles joined together to show like this is the long polypeptide. Then here's the chopped up one, small polypeptides. And then the individual circles for amino acids. They like drawings. They like small drawings. Like,
Okay.
I don't know why. Maybe it's aesthetics.
Aesthetics.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, in my rehearsal I did draw, just that when I did it I didn't draw it out
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
for the photo.
Actually, let's see where can you cut stuff. Okay, you definitely do not need to say the lengths I saw in the rehearsal. Yeah.
Yeah,
Of like
so
how.
I didn't mention that. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Wait, I didn't know the ilium is longer than the jejunum. It is?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, I need to check that out.
Because I remember I have a question. I was a student asked me this question before.
What, to your school teacher?
No, like she asked me.
Oh,
Yeah, then I just mentioned this. Yeah.
okay. Wow. Okay. And yeah, thanks. At least, even though you're not gonna put in the lesson, but at least I learned something because I always thought jejunum is the longest. Okay, that's nice.
Like those that I wrote in black, right? It's not that, it's those like for my own teacher's notes that I'll just put it in.
Okay.
But I won't say
Interesting.
out in class. Like I wouldn't write out physically, just for like notes for myself when I
Okay.
teach. Yeah.
In case for some reason they ask you, then
Yeah.
easy is right there.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. For these kind of things, I don't mind if you write it in. Although it's very challenging as a tutor to like see your whole document, so many things, and then know what to do, right? Know what to say. So the less things I put inside, for me, the easier it is. But I'm not gonna like say whether you cannot put in or not. Next thing would be, let's see. Excretion actually does happen at the anus, but it's not in syllabus anymore. So why? Is because bile pigment is formed
Oh
from
yeah.
breakdown of
Breakdown
hemoglobin.
hemoglobin. Yes.
Yes. So when you remove, it's considered excretion, but it's not in syllabus anymore. So I just wanted to tell you that. Yeah, but it is true that egestion is not the same as excretion. Yeah, that's fine. So perhaps that is one of the small things which you could remove. Because when you introduce this, is introducing another concept of excretion, right? And then they need to realize that, oh, it's different. So that takes like 1/2 a minute to say. And then
Okay.
if you remove it, I think it'll be better.
Okay.
Like for the anus thing, you can just say, what is the process that happens here? Starts with E, then you put blank. Yeah, then if they say excretion, you just say no. Then if they say egestion, yeah, then you write.
Okay.
So where we left off was worksheet. Okay, let's do this one first, since we are worksheet question 7. So whenever I use this term memory shortcut for my students, it is when you do things like this whole thing. So mnemonics, this is a mnemonic. Acronym. Acronym is like MASS, M-A-S-S. Acronym is a word that can be pronounced. Mnemonic is not a pronounceable. Like this is, we cannot pronounce mnemonics. So these are memory shortcuts, right? Memory hack is for small items, like when they learn arterioles in the skin, does it constrict or dilate when it's cold? So the hack is cold constrict because CO, right? That starts with CO. So that is a memory hack. Okay, so that's
Mm.
our lingo that we use in teaching in that bio.
So for this, I should be using memory shortcut.
Yes, at the start you should have said this is a memory shortcut for the
Okay.
alcohol effects, and then I will write out at the top in one line, students drink, comma, alcohol unleashes chaos for brains.
Oh, so I just write it at the top. So I don't write it like this, is it?
Yeah, because when you write it inside, right, then each becomes very long.
Oh, okay. So I'll at the top I just say
And
students
then
drink.
they might also think that that is a keyword or something, the unleashes. Huh? Is that a
Oh,
keyword? Am I supposed to write an answer? Yeah, so I want to make it obvious that this is just for the sake of memorizing.
okay. So I just write it at the top over here.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay. Then I'll just
Then,
tell them say that the first one will be for short term and the bottom one is for long term.
oh yeah, that's nice. Yeah, good, good.
Okay.
Then the bottom, right, you like instead of writing alcohol, arrow addiction, all this, you just put letter A, then colon, whatever.
And like for example, addiction.
Yeah. And the way you're doing it is you're highlighting the A and the A. Yeah, that's good. I personally draw a box, but highlight is good. So, all right. Then next is, yeah. So I noticed that for the first two, I think he didn't do that. That's why, as a
Yeah.
student, I wouldn't have known that, oh, he's actually referencing those letters. Okay. Next is good, relatable explanation you said about the running for understanding the reaction times. So you could make it much more concise. Like, yeah, that's good. Though we want to always, we are concerned about your time, right? So
Mm.
how I will explain is I'd say, when you run 1.6 km, not far run, PE, then if your timing is lesser, that means you ran faster, right? Then they'll be like, yeah. So if your reaction time is down, means you reacted faster, right? Then they'll be like, yeah. Okay, see that was it. No need to say that for that long, right? Then I save a lot of my time. Okay, next one. Yeah, cirrhosis pronunciation is like that. And then yeah, you use the laser pointer thing, which I don't use in my lessons, but it's good, it's smooth, you are using it appropriately. So like just keep doing that.
Mm.
And then the last one, like showing the Venn diagram thing. Okay, it's like I think they're smart enough to realize that it should only be C, like to interpret the Venn diagram. I think they're smart enough. So no need to show that.
Okay, so I don't explain how the Venn diagram
Yeah,
works.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Then if they
No need.
personally like do not know how to see, then they will just
If they
ask us
personally
after
ask
question.
you, then you can say, yeah, then okay, see when they ask these kind of things, if it's with the rest of the class, right? They didn't come to you personally, then you decide, is there enough time? Because so we measure the time taken to answer the question with the benefit to the general class. If let's say everyone also has the same question, and even though it may take 1 minute, that is very worth because everyone also doesn't know. But if only like one guy doesn't know how to interpret the Venn diagram, and then you use 1 minute to explain, it's only benefiting that one guy, right? So I would say not worth. And then I will tell the guy, oh, actually after class you ask me. Yeah, just and this is the last question, right? So I'll say, oh, actually that one, you just stay back a while. I'll show you. Yeah, then you allow the rest to go first. And
Okay.
on the day itself, I think during the breaks, they will ask you questions. They will come to you and they'll ask you, or you might go around and then they might ask you stuff. So you have to be very careful of like eating into your own teaching time because in between the breaks, you are answering too many questions.
Mm.
Yeah, so address all the urgent ones, those who raise hand, address all of those. Then you have to be super concise. It must be like just sniper rifle straight at their problem. And then like once it's dead, once the misconception is killed, that's it. You move on to the next student already. Because you have barely enough time. Plus, it'd be nice if you can get to go toilet, so at least you can take a break. So during in between break, just be super fast and protect your time. Protect their break time. Don't let it extend too much. Okay, then let's go to question 4. Good that you recommended to them to underline important parts of the question. And it's the stomach ulcers. Now, I would ask them what is inside so this is about bringing them along to the thought process. I'll say, oh, what is an effect that the gastric juice may have on the wall? Then imagine someone pour acid on your hand. Ouch, pain, right? Like, yeah, that's what happens to the wall. Then what else is inside other than acid in gastric juice? Then they'll say protease. Then how can protease damage the stomach wall? Then, oh, well, protease is an enzyme, right? Digest protein. Do you think the stomach wall might have proteins? Then you show them the link. Yes, it does, because the walls are made of muscles, right? That's why, and muscles are made of protein. That's why whenever people want to build muscle, they always like have to eat more protein, right? So it would digest the muscles of the wall. So this way, it really brings them through the thought process. It's the same issue as the part 2, like, but you already fixed it. The part 2, you showed me how you can bring them through the thought process. Right, next one is scary monsters for the pathogens. I like that. I think they'll like it too. Then okay, you mainly were giving them the answer, but you fixed that already. I already gave you the feedback. Yeah, so before you ask them, hey, show thumbs up or down, when I ask it in class, I noticed that a lot of them will just not do anything. So I need to say, okay, 3, 2, 1, go. Then they will go.
Okay.
Yes, so that's it resulted in a huge increase in people actually doing it. Yeah, I'll put my hand like that, closed, and I'll say, okay, 3, 2, 1, go. Yeah, and then they'll show.